You're listening to BSI, the podcast with Benny Philhauer, Sal Zizzo, and Arco Para. Enjoy!
This Italian guy from San Diego.
It's Italian Stallion.
We played on Irvine Strikers. We played on at UCLA. We played on the Maccabi in Israel.
Don't worry. I have this written down. I was gonna bring it up.
I'll wait for it then, bro.
Welcome to BSI the podcast. I'm pretty sure this is episode 20, Sal. I think it is. It is, right?
You're right. Yep.
All right, dude.
Called it.
Well, today we're bringing someone on that I have known for 18 years, more than half my life. I think I started playing with him when we were 16 or 17 years old on Irvine Strikers.
Yeah. And I got to know him from my freshman year at UCLA and then my 6 months at Chivas USA before he went on to Mexico.
So Jonny Bornstein, now on Chicago Fire. He's played everywhere. He started with Chivas USA with Bob Bradley, played on the national team after that, moved around the world, played in Mexico for a number of years, Israel, and now is back in MLS. A lot of good stories that I share with him in several national team camps that we'll share with you guys today. Anything else before we bring him on, Sal?
Just a little USL update. San Diego Loyal, our team won 1-0 at Real Monarchs, defending champions. So it was nice to
All I saw is you got a yellow card, bro.
I did, but it was if you watch the first half, it was the style we wanted to play, and it was a good ball movement.
Nice.
So
you guys playing Landon ball now?
We are. We dominated in possession, dominated in total passes, and it's not easy to do when you go in Salt Lake. So it was a good game.
Well, congratulations. Good start to the season for you guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring Jonny right now. Welcome, Jonny. Welcome to BSI the podcast. Jonny Bornstein, we finally got you on, bro. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I've listened to you guys quite a bit on your clips on Instagram and on Twitter and stuff. It's finally nice to get the invite and to be talking with you once again. It's been a long time since we got a chance to sit down and speak to one another.
Dude, yeah, I feel like I just want to talk about like Irvine Strikers all day, bro.
All our club experiences.
I don't think people know how far back we go. Like not many people do.
Yeah, I've talked about it in quite a few interviews over the years, but no one really knows when it all started. All that Benny and Jonny stuff, Irvine Strikers U17. So
yeah, dude, exactly. I still think Kyle McClung still talks about how that game against AV Heat was the game that turned your life around.
Dude, for sure. I think that's like an epitome of kind of my career. Like always being an underdog and waiting for my chance, and then when I get it, just kind of like grasping it and taking advantage of it. Yeah. I remember just sitting on the bench on that Irvine Striker team, just like thinking, wow, man, what am I doing again on another team when I'm not playing? Right. And then that AV Heat game changed my life for sure.
That's funny. We were talking about that, Benny and I, when we were, discussing about the topics we were going to talk to you about. And something that got brought up was like how that year's Irvine Striker team, like no one really got recruited hard except for, who was it, the goalie? That went to Stanford.
Yeah. Doug Franco went to UCI, but then
it produced two guys that played a lot of games with the national team. So it's just kind of weird how some players can just slip through the cracks like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Just late bloomers.
But we also had to compete with that the older Irvine team who had
but that's what
Jordan
we're
Harvey,
saying.
Chad Marshall, and I was the same age as those guys in terms of grade.
Yeah.
But in terms of age, I was the same as you guys in '84. Right. So but yeah, we had to compete with those. They were all going to the best schools in the country.
Yep.
And then our team, me obviously writing emails to every single college coach that I could be like.
That was like me, dude.
Come see me. And having to go to Cal Poly Pomona before eventually transferring to UCLA, where I met back up with Benny once again.
Yep. Yeah. I remember when Jorge came up to me, he's like, hey, what about this Bornstein guy? Like Caligiuri's letting me know like he should come here and he thinks I'm like, yes, sign this dude, please.
Please. I know I should have been there 2 years ago. Why didn't you guys respond to my emails? That's what I wanted to know.
Dude, I mean, you know my story. I basically walked on. Like no one really wanted me there. I made it in as a student. Tom Fitzgerald saw me for, half a game against Woodbridge in my senior year. And he's like, yeah, come try out. I think you'll make the team. And that was that.
Benny, what if you didn't? So basically, if you didn't get accepted, you probably would have never gone to UCLA? Or do you think you would have gone the route that Jimmy Conrad did, where he like tried to transfer?
Probably not, because I was a really good student coming out of high school. And so I would have gone to a really good school. So I got into like Michigan Ann Arbor, which I think was like one of the top 5, top 10 best engineering schools in the country. Okay. So I would have gone to a good school, and soccer would have been, dude, soccer in my mind, when I went into college, was like, one was academics and way below was athletics. Really? And at UCLA, you know how it is. Everybody wants to go pro. And that just like completely changed my mindset. And obviously I grew as a player, but that's interesting. Everything would have been different.
It's funny you say that, because me coming out of high school, going to college, I was the same way. I was like, I'm going to go to Cal Poly. I'm going to study engineering. I'm going to focus on that. And soccer was very secondary.
Right.
And then again, when Paul Caligiuri was like, no, you need to go to UCLA. You need to go pro. Like, if that's your dream, then we'll get you there. And then when, like you say, arriving at UCLA, everybody's just like, I'm going pro. I'm going pro. And even then playing there the 2 years, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go pro. Didn't have that mentality. And then Jorge called me into his office 3 weeks before the draft and was like, hey, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I'll go pro, He's like, okay, well, let me call up my buddy Lyle York, and I'll hook you up with him. And that's exactly how it happened. I didn't get invited to any combines for the MLS, only for the Chivas USA combine. And the rest is history, So
I remember that because Jonny, you and I played together. I was a freshman when you were a senior, and you and the rest of the team loved the hazing portion of the UCLA when I was a freshman. I still have that your Jonny Bornstein laugh in the back of my head during some of those times that we cannot really talk about on the podcast. But
that shit doesn't even happen anymore, dude.
Yeah, you can't do this.
Not allowed
stuff.
To.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, different time.
Yeah,
all right. Well, we haven't even started the podcast yet, but we already got some good stories out of Jonny. Yeah. But
do you want to start with
Jonny,
the quick hitters? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we'll do the quick hitters. So, Jonny, quick hitters. I'll give you some easy questions, get you warmed up. Then we'll do the interview portion where we'll talk about your career. We'll ask a little bit about the Orlando tournament, and then at the end, usually Ike is here to give the plead the fifth, but me and Sal are trying to fill in as best we can, and we'll give you 5 tough questions. You can plead the fifth once. If you choose to not plead the fifth and you answer all 5, you get to ask one question of your choosing to me or Sal.
I was warned about that part by a few people.
All right, we'll start off with the quick hitters. You'll get warmed up by then. Yeah. All right, first question, quick hitter. Better college player, Sal Zizzo, Benny Feilhaber, or Jonny Bornstein?
Well, when I was the senior at UCLA and Sal was coming in, he was this big time recruit, and I was only there as like a transfer senior. So and Benny, you also were just a walk on. So I would say Sal Zizzo.
Yeah, for sure. All you need in college apparently is just speed, because where's the technical ability? Like
that developed
him and Marvell
over time.
just sprinting down the sidelines.
I was going to say Marvell win for sure.
Hey, there's a lot of college players that have made a career out of sprinting, basically.
Yeah. I told Sal, like, that question, if he's honest, it's gonna be you, Sal. You're the man in college. Even if I didn't play with him, I know he was.
Everyone was talking about this Italian guy from San Diego.
It's Italian stallion.
All right. I think we're all in agreement with that one. All right. This next one, dude, me and you have spent countless amounts of time together at national team camps. We've been together. Like our stint with the national team was almost exactly simultaneous, So I'm wondering, what's your favorite moment with the men's national team? It could have been a goal, a game, something, in between games at hotels, whatever it is. What's your best memory moment with the national team?
I mean, easily the day I scored that goal against Costa Rica is one of the best moments of my career, if not with the national team, if not for my entire career. So kind of an easy one. But I remember my favorite moment outside of soccer was when we were in South Africa. You and me doing that interview with those crazy ass hats.
You can still on YouTube. Who's the better roommate, right?
Exactly. We were doing the roommate challenge. Who knows each other better? That was so much fun. We were just chilling, South Africa. But they brought in these hats that we were just like, what are these things? They created there in South Africa, super, like only for that place you could find that kind of thing. So yeah, that was a good moment.
Dude, I actually rewatched that. I just got YouTube TV, and so I was like on YouTube on my television showing my kids like old clips of like this MLS Insider of me when the girls were really young. And anyways, and we flipped through some, and that came up, and I was I was astounded how ridiculous it sounded. I don't even sound like I feel like I'm pretty good talker and can like, describe what and I felt like I was a little kid, and we weren't like little kids at that point anymore.
Little kids.
I mean, we were 25 and 26, right? So, but yeah, dude, it was funny. So you guys, if you guys are, fans of the show, for sure, go check that out because it was pretty funny. I think I should have beaten you, but maybe they gave it to you. I can't remember what happened to that.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it too. But I just remember us sitting there on that couch and just like what you said, I felt like a little kid when I watch it again. I'm like, who is this guy? He's like all pimple faced and just my voice, same kind of thing, bro. I'm like, damn, is that how it was when I was on the national team? Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that goal against Costa Rica, that kind of brought you to God status in Honduras. Am I correct?
That is, I mean, God status.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but
you were getting fan mail and invited to the country. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, even to this day, I still get constantly on the anniversary at least, but throughout social media, constantly get messages saying, thank you for the goal. Thank you for sending us to the World Cup. Just about a week ago, someone invited me to go to Roatan again. They're like, yeah, we'll pay for it for you to come out here. So Still to this day, they're still talking about that. And it's, it's nice to have some honor there in Honduras. But they won't let me into Costa Rica. That's for sure.
I think Costa Rica.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Here, Francisco Calvo. And he's always just like, the moment he found out that I scored that goal, he didn't talk to me for like a week. Didn't pass me the ball for like 3 days, bro.
Yeah, I think Costa Rica might be a nicer place to visit too. So maybe you should have let them win, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
In hindsight, it's 2020.
All right. Well, that actually so I have two more quick hitters, but my next one was actually your best goal ever scored, and I was gonna obviously throw that one in, and it could have been whether it's your best goal, whether it's what the goal meant and all that stuff, but I was gonna add a little story to it. So obviously you scored that one against Costa Rica. I know you scored a big goal for Querétaro in the semifinals to get to the finals, but I will trump all those goals with a goal in the national championship with Irvine Strikers when a guy, Brad Guzan, used to play on the other team as a defensive midfielder. And the guy that you made the dribble on, some people will know as Jed Zahner, one of the highest recruited college players at the time and went pro. I think he played, a few seasons in MLS where I can't even describe this goal. You dinked it over his head, by the end line and just finished it back post and kind of solidified our win in the national finals. But is there a goal better than that one?
I would say you mentioned all three goals that I could possibly think of that for my career that were great goals. Obviously at that point when we were in the Irvine Strikers, I was playing forward. I remember that play so distinctly, it was just like the ball came over, took a bounce, and I saw Jed Zahner kind of creeping up to just win it first time, and just, the left inside or the, I can think of the word in Spanish, I can't think of the word in English. Look at that.
The outside of your left foot?
Yeah, the top of the foot.
Yeah, top of the foot.
The empeine, no? And and I just flick it over his head and just turn on it, and then just left-footed volley into the side netting far post. It was pretty amazing. I mean, it lifted our whole team up to win that game, and I think I scored again in that match also. If I do remember, I had a really good assist to you in the first game too. Benny.
That was a great assist, diving header, bro.
Yeah, diving header.
We're just reminiscing here, Sal.
Guys, go on. I need to hear about more of these youth soccer goals.
Yeah, man. You can't stop talking about that.
No, that was a great year, dude. Great.
I mean, how were we not more highly recruited, Benny? I don't understand.
No one knew.
We're gonna go back to that.
Nah, they were like, this guy's too skinny. This guy's too small. They can't be very good.
Yeah. So, and then obviously the other goal that I scored that was really big for my career was in Querétaro in the semifinal. It was the goal that put Querétaro into the first final they had ever been into. Obviously I had my wife in the stands. She was pregnant. That was a really special moment. I can still remember one of my ex-teammates, Ricardo Osorio. He was up in the stands because he had gotten a red card in the first leg at Pachuca. Yeah. And he was sitting next to my wife. And when the goal went in, he saw her jumping up and down, and he told her, like, relax, the baby's going to fall out of you. You keep jumping like that. And so, that was extremely special. A big, big moment for myself and for the team of Querétaro also.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you, quick hitters. By the way, on that Querétaro team, was that? Did you play with Ronaldinho as well?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
he was for a while, right?
That squad. Yeah, funny story there. I mean, in the first leg at Pachuca, when Ricardo Osorio got the red card, they took off Ronaldinho to put another defender on, and he walked straight off the field. And then we didn't see him for like another 2 days. He went straight to Querétaro, and we don't even know where he went. It was crazy. It was like he was so mad because the coach took him off. It was a really good experience in general playing with Ronaldinho. Yep. Pure magic on the field.
I still remember some funny stories of going out with him in 2008 when we scrimmaged with them, or friendly with them in Brazil, in Chicago. I mean,
was it Chicago or was it?
It was in Chicago.
New Jersey, no?
We lost 4-2, I think. We had a friendly against them, and then they went out with us to a bar or whatever. And this guy's just next level crazy, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I don't want to say that your career is close to ending here, but I mean, you're older than me. I've retired. Sal's retired once and come back. So right. I'm assuming your career is kind of coming to a close at some point here. What is the most likely thing you're going to do after retirement?
I mean, as of right now, I'm probably thinking of going toward a little bit of coaching. Obviously, like you said, I got to be honest with myself. I can't play forever. So my goal is to play until I'm at least 40. I think
40. Oh my! You and Sasha, dude. You and Sasha were like neck and neck.
Sasha and Maldini. You three.
Yeah, no. Me and Sasha will battle it out to see who lasts longer from the class of 06, right?
Yep.
So, probably something to do with coaching. I would always had a passion for like coaching younger players, and I think university would be really high up there on that list. Get them before they go pro and just have a little bit more of an impact on their lives. But that would mean I would have to go back to school also. So I don't know if that's going to be in the cards.
It's not easy.
But,
how much you got left? How much you got left for college?
Yeah, you should be.
Probably a year. I mean, when I transferred, I lost a lot of credits, and then went into sociology. Just decided focus on soccer a little bit more than school at that point. But
you could knock it out with Southern New Hampshire with that deal that the MLS has with them.
Yeah, that's very true. So
we'll check.
I'll look into that. I got 5 more years. I got 5 more years before I got to think about that.
All right. Well, that's all for the quick hitters. We can move on to the.
I'm just gonna grab
the bulk. Yeah, go ahead. Get some food in you, bro. You got a game in like 3 hours.
Gotta stay hydrated,
Hey, just so people know, like how appreciative we are of you coming on. You're playing. This is obviously only going to drop on Thursday, but you're playing. We're filming this on Monday night, and you guys are playing at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So stay hydrated. You're going to get your breakfast in about 6 hours after your 5-hour nap tonight.
Make sure you load up with the
Monday afternoon, right? It's only 7 o'clock here, so
make sure you load up with the chicken and pasta at 5 a.m. All right.
Yeah.
You got marinara sauce.
We're asked what we're gonna have for pregame meal, and they were like a little bit of everything. There'll be eggs, there'll be salmon, there'll be chicken.
Yeah, there'll be salmon
pasta.
at 5 a.m.
It's crazy.
Hey, bagel and lox, dude. Bagel and lox.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. Bring out that Jewish part of me,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Main interview. You want to start with the first question, Sal? I got one here, but I took so many of the quick hitters. So.
Well, okay. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but you had said, you wanted to turn pro, and there wasn't much interest besides going to the Chivas USA, combine. And did you know going into the 4th round supplemental, like that Chivas was going to take you at some point, or was it just kind of like, hoping they took me, and then make the best out of the opportunity?
No, I had no idea, to be honest. I think, well, when I said I only went to the Chivas Combine, I'll retract that. I actually went to the Galaxy Combine also.
Okay.
But
they weren't the same thing.
Yeah, so yeah, basically the same players.
Yeah.
But the true statement in there is like when I went to the Chivas Combine, I felt like they actually gave me a chance. And at the Galaxy Combine, I was just like another player. I don't even remember them ever saying my name.
Okay.
Like, oh, you're going to be on the field doing this, blah, blah, blah. So basically, Chivas came around. They chose Sasha on their first pick of the first round. And then they didn't have another pick because they had traded them away for the second and the third round.
Okay.
So then the fourth round came around, and I had no idea I was going to be who they chose as one of their only 2 picks for the Super Draft that year in 2006. When I got the call, the text, I think it was Kevin Esparza. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Yeah, I remember him.
He texted me, and he was like, "Hey, look, Chivas chose you. Here's the report dates, blah, blah, blah." And I remember I was in Pomona at the time, and just my world kind of changed in that moment, just thinking, wow, I just got drafted to play professionally. Definitely a dream come true. And then, yeah, this is kind of.
So
we'll
follow-up question: Did you ride your UCLA scooter from Pomona to the Home Depot Center to go sign with Chivas?
No, I had a
the Vespa, right? Is it
the Vespa?
Yeah. Because scooter now everybody thinks is like the little motorized razor or whatever.
It's Vespa. It was a thing back at UCLA.
Yeah,
everybody had those scooters at UCLA, and so you weren't cool if you didn't have one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I had
wasn't
one.
Cool, by the way.
Top recruit, but you didn't have a scooter, bro. That's unlucky.
Yeah, neither actually, but
yeah.
Oh, so no, I didn't ride the scooter there, but it got stolen actually. So.
Oh no.
Oh man.
So and then during that time, were you just lighting up the camp? Like, how did you end up starting that first game and kind of get on Bob's good side and his trust, gain his trust?
I mean, if you remember, I was coming out of college as a forward / midfielder, and so got into that. Those first trainings with Chivas USA, they were having me out wide, playing out left. But very quickly, Bob came up to me and asked me if I could play left fullback. And so just on the fly, I did it. I looked at who was playing in front of me at forward. You had Ante Razov, you had Paco Valencia. There was no way I was going to be starting or even playing in front of those guys. And then, we had some solid players out wide on both sides. And really, there was no one at left back. And I remember even Jesse Marsh telling me, "Hey, dude, if you can master this position quickly, there's no one on the national team either who solidified the left back spot." And so I kind of took that to heart. I remember just working extremely hard in that first preseason. I remember Bob calling me into his office. What was it, like 3 days before the first game, and was like, "Look, I'm gonna put you on a first team contract, top 18. You're gonna be starting in the first game against Salt Lake, but at any point I can just drop you down to a reserve contract." And I remember walking out of his office like, okay, I'm not gonna give up this spot. There's no way I'm gonna be dropped down to a reserve spot and make, instead of $28,000, $12. So that's kind of how that all happened. The preseason went really well. Yeah, I did extremely well, and never looked back from there.
Nice.
Yeah, and then even after that, I mean, so you were Rookie of the Year in 2006.
Yeah.
You made, I'm pretty sure you made MLS Best 11 the next year, right?
Yeah.
And you got called into the national team. You scored your goal. The first game you played, you scored against, I know it was at Home Depot. Was it Denmark? It was
Denmark. Yeah, it was Denmark.
Right?
Yeah.
So you kind of had like a meteoric rise, which I can kind of compare to which is what happened with me. Maybe not at the professional level, but in terms of becoming a professional, where I was at UCLA, had never been called to a youth team, went to the 20s, then went pro in Hamburg. How was that? Was it like, I mean, for me, it was like just kind of like a wave that you just kept riding, and you're just like, let me go and see how far I can take this. And was it kind of like that, or how did you feel when?
No, it was exactly like that. I think in the moment, I didn't even know what was happening. Yeah. I think I was just like a young, naive man, just like or not even a man, a kid who was just enjoying the opportunities that were being thrown in front of him. Thinking back on it, I wish I could have even, like, you always look back and you think, oh, I could have done so much more, even kind of embrace the moments more. But at the same time, I was always that kind of underdog player who obviously wasn't recruited high, always waiting for my opportunity, never really getting the notoriety that kind of I felt I deserved. And so that whole time was just kind of the same thing. When I finally got, that first contract where he said, you're going to be on the top 18, I was like, oh, wonderful. And then starting the first game, never not starting a game that entire season. I think I played more minutes than any field player that first year in the MLS. And then obviously winning Rookie of the Year, and then going to the banquet or the gala and just seeing all these super famous people who I'd seen on TV all the time, and just kind of just being like in this state of awe, what's going on? I'm just going to keep doing it. And, thinking back, those memories are very kind of like vague, but talking about them brings them up even more. And then, so kind of like what you said, it kind of is just like riding that wave and seeing how far it goes. And even there's moments now where I'm just still like, how am I still doing this? It's been, I think, 16 seasons.
How are you still doing this, dude? I know how I used to feel, but like, let's be honest, you've always been one of the fittest dudes ever.
Yeah.
Where you can run without even feeling any pain. So you still doing it.
You know what's crazy too? You know what's crazy too is like when you're young, like 3 years, so much goes by, and so you can go like in the span of 3 years, you went from like playing your last game at Cal Poly to like starting for Chivas, winning Rookie of the Year, then getting called into the national team, Whereas like you could, when you're an older player, you could play 3 years at a club at a professional level, and like not much, changes as far as your stock in the world of being a professional, But when you're a young man, it's just this crazy jump that you go from like an unknown player to just like jumping on the national team scene. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right, Jonny, I want to ask you a question about, and I can never get it out of my head. So night before Gold Cup final against Mexico, you remember the conversation that we had?
About I think it was you predicted you scoring the goal.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you told me, you had a dream or something where you saw yourself scoring the goal tomorrow. And yeah, that was,
dude, I think that's it. It was like, I actually don't think I had a dream. So I don't think it was a dream. I actually can't remember it perfectly, but I don't think it was a dream. I think it was just like, so I don't know if everybody has these, but I've always had like these at times very strong feelings about what might happen. Right. And I'm not like think like that, but sometimes I just have this feeling. And for some reason, I think that night, all of a sudden I was like, Jonny,
I'm going to score tomorrow.
I'm going to score the game winner tomorrow. Like that's what's going to happen. We're going to play Mexico. I'm going to score the game winner.
Sometimes it's just a wave.
I don't even know like how that came across to you. Like you thought, okay.
I think I looked at you. I remember you saying that. I couldn't remember the exact way it happened, but I think I looked at you like, okay, Benny, good. Yeah, that's fine. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, bro.
Oh my God, dude. And I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny you say that because I remember there was one time when I actually had a dream, and I told my dad, I told him we were in a camp in Tampa, Florida, and we were going to be playing El Salvador, I think, for a World Cup qualifier. And like right when we arrived to Tampa, I remember I slept that night, and I woke up in the morning and I had to call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I had this crazy dream. I was captain of the national team, and I was playing center back. Like I never played center back before, ever. And he's like, wow, that's so weird. And then 3 days later, Bob puts me at center back and he makes me captain. And I'm like,
really?
For the only game I ever played center back for the national team and the only game I was ever captain. So
that's crazy.
I feel you, Benny. Yep. Maybe you passed a little bit along to me that day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was crazy for us to help the team win that tournament.
No, and I don't even know if a lot of people know we played on multiple teams together. We played on Irvine Strikers. We played on UCLA. We played on the Maccabi in Israel.
Don't worry. I have this written down, dude. I was gonna bring it up.
I'll wait for it then, bro.
If you remember, I had said that we both had said that we were playing this, but I didn't know that I was going to get offered professional contracts after the Under-20 World Cup. And so I told these teams, I'm like, look, I already made a commitment to go play in the Maccabee games. These guys probably are like, what the hell is the Maccabee games? They're like, we're offering you a contract to become a professional soccer player. And like, you're going to go play some Maccabee games? I'm like, yeah, dude, I promised them. So I got to go. And then I'll come back and sign the contract in a month. And so we played together in the Maccabee games, which was so much fun.
Did you take out an insurance policy?
Dude,
We did. I actually did. My dad took out an insurance policy for, I think, $1 million in case I got injured.
Smart.
Couldn't sign.
Yeah, smart move there. No, but that tournament
not
was
smart, right? Because I didn't get hurt, so it would have been better than not getting out.
I just lost my money. That's all I did. I paid for something I never used.
And, I mean, we had a good I was just talking to my dad about it, how it's a really fun tournament because obviously we're professional players or about to become professional players. So we're one of the better players on there. So we feel like we can really make a difference, but it's very even. Like it's not like you're playing against bad players. You're playing against a lot of good players. You're just like a little bit above them. And so it's a lot of fun. I thought it was a lot of fun, that tournament. Like, what was your experience?
Oh, it was an amazing tournament, to be honest, not only because of the soccer, but because you get to travel around Israel for free with these great guys, creating relationships with people who I still keep in touch with today on social media. And there I was alongside you, at the Wailing Wall, floating in the Dead Sea, all kinds of stuff. I remember,
dude, that was crazy in the Dead Sea.
Yeah,
man,
so,
a lot of things.
It's an experience not many people get to experience, and we were experiencing it because we were playing soccer for a Jewish Olympic team for the United States.
Right. And it's special as well, Jonny, because so many of the places that we've gotten to go, like, so we went to South Africa, for example. We've played in different places in the U.S., outside of the U.S. for the national team, but very rare that you can get out of the hotel and actually do sightseeing and like enjoy, your time wherever you are, because you're there for the game. You got to like get your body ready and all that stuff. And that was like one trip that we really did. It's not just about playing soccer. It's about getting to know, Israel and exploring and that kind of thing. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. There was one thing that sucked though.
We lost in the final.
Yeah. Well, they suspended me for the finals, Jonny. Come on, dude.
Oh man.
You don't remember that?
Horrible. No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember? I got a yellow card in the quarters and the semis, and they suspended me for the finals. 2 yellow cards.
Yeah. No, but
that's why we didn't. That's why we didn't win.
Yeah, for sure. Too much weight on these shoulders on that.
Yeah, you're playing by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember we played in the final, the Israel U23 team, and they were
it was their Olympics team.
Yeah, or whatever it was, and so no, it was a good competition. I mean, obviously, the best was getting to the final and playing them, but and I didn't realize you didn't get to play that game. You probably would have won if you had.
You guys played pretty well, to be fair. I don't know if I would have made any difference, but.
So Jonny, before we kind of get into talking about your time down in Orlando right now, I just want to know what's, in your opinion, besides the talent, right? Because the talent from MLS in 2010 to now is completely different. But besides that, what's the biggest difference between MLS 2010 and MLS 2020?
I think the notoriety that the MLS has gained over those years has changed so much. Like, it went from being a league where I feel like no one really talked about it when I was leaving. They always looked at the MLS like this young, like, project kind of thing. And then you just fast forward 10 years coming back into the league. I mean, they've done such a good job of marketing all over the world. I was able to watch it while I was in Mexico and just see the league growing. But I think that is just like the popularity for MLS throughout the United States has grown by leaps and bounds. You can, attribute that to the fact that they've brought in such, quality South American, European, and even had really good young Americans coming through the league over these 10 years. But I'd say, the biggest difference has been the level of play, but definitely the notoriety that the league has gained over those years.
I want to ask you one question about your Mexico stint, bro, because it was a long one and it was an up and down one. But I heard a story that you opened up your own auto mechanic shop down there.
Yeah.
Please tell me why and how that happened, and was it successful?
So when I met my wife, when I went and changed teams to Querétaro,
Yeah.
she's a Brazilian who studied law in Brazil, and then she took a job with Deloitte in Querétaro. It's a big time, big law firm there in the States and everything. So I started working for Deloitte. I think it was about 12 years ago in Querétaro. And so when we met, obviously we started, our relationship, and then we were like decided, we want to spend the rest of our lives together and have kids. So we had kids, and when we were having our first baby, it's really hard to be on your own in a different country where you don't have any family, no help with anything. And so our decision was to bring her mom and her stepdad to live with us, at least for a little bit in the same home, until we could get them settled somewhere, obviously in their own apartment or something. And so her stepdad is a mechanic, and that's what he did in Brazil for all those years. And so we decided, if the easiest thing for him to do and for her mom to be able to go and be dependent upon him working there was to open our own auto mechanic shop. And so, we bounced around names all over the place, but we kind of decided on Bornstein Automotive, right there in smack dab in the middle of Querétaro. And we set it up really well. Obviously, any new business is going to take time to succeed and everything. But we're still open. That's all that matters. And this crisis with COVID has kind of hit us pretty hard.
Yeah.
Just because no one was out and no one's driving.
No one's driving.
Spending.
Right.
Yeah. And so we were actually one of the first businesses that could open up, because when they started opening things up again in Mexico, it's still kind of all shut down. But we've taken a big hit. Hopefully we can rebound. We'll see. But, positive side of the story is we had help raising our 2 kids there in Mexico for a little while.
And
really
and she had help once you went golfing. Every time you'd go golfing, she had help around.
No, that was pre-wife. That was when he was at Tigres, not playing a minute and just living on a golf course.
Yeah, shooting. Yeah. Zero.
I was gonna say it's okay. Your auto mechanic shop is taking a little bit of hit. Nothing like 5 more years in the league won't help. You'll be playing until you're 40, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's why I have to play on 40.
Yeah, right. Hey, coming back to what Sal said, how is your golf game these days?
No, it's not good at all. We had a day off here in Orlando, and we got to go to one of the Disney courses. It was really nice to be out there. I think myself and 5 other guys. Shot up 43 with a few mulligans.
Oh, you played
only 9?
Only 9. Yeah, the weather is crazy here. You literally can be drenched in sweat from the sun and the humidity.
It's not crazy, dude. It sucks. You can just say what it is, dude. It sucks in Orlando. The weather. The weather is the worst, dude. It's the like 100%.
Middle of summer, and there's a thunderstorm.
It rains every day in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Insanity.
You should have created the bubble in Southern California, honestly.
Yeah, why didn't they go out to Lancaster or something?
No, then it'd be too windy.
Build some bungalows in Palmdale, Lancaster. Yeah.
Palmdale. They went up to Kyle and Cree.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last question for me before we get into Orlando tournament. Your time in Israel, bro. So I want to bring it back to we were both there in 2008. We got I don't know what you want to call it, recruited or by Maccabi Tel Aviv, right?
Yeah, Maccabi Tel Aviv.
And we were both there at the same time, and they both and it was like a little sketchy, at least to me. It was
for me
weird,
too, bro.
Like our time there. Okay.
Dude, and, I won't ever forget the moment that I got to the hotel. I'm just chilling there. The guy's like, we're going to go out. And so I step outside of my hotel room, and Benny is there. And I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? And they set us up, bro. They set us up to be there at the same time, like for all the press and everything. And that was so funny. I had no idea you were even going to be there. Did you know I was going to be there?
I think I did, because I think you went first. And I think we both were with Lyle, right?
Yeah.
So I think Lyle told me that you were there. I can't remember exactly, but I think I did. Yeah. I think I knew you were there. And but yeah, that whole
Basically,
trip
you guys
was
just
like,
followed each other your whole entire career.
yeah, kind
basically.
of. And so, but it was like a weird scheme. Like I think they kind of like under false pretenses told Darby County, which is who I was playing for at the time, yeah, we're going to pay you guys this transfer fee if he accepts the personal deal. And there was like there's always like the conversations about, getting paid net, and like, if you're an American, it's pretty much impossible. They have to pay taxes somewhere. So anyways, it was like a big scheme to get us there.
I know it was paid net because I went there for a year, so it was net, yeah. But only for the first couple of years, dude. That is true. You can't stay there for too long without having it.
So what I was going to ask is, how was that? I mean, you eventually went, a few years later to Natanya. How'd you enjoy it? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I always used to compare, like, originally going to Mexico with going to Israel. Like, when I went originally to Mexico, again, I didn't speak the language. The culture was completely different. But I was, like, by myself pretty much, I didn't have a family at that time. I was young. I was kind of naive. And so it was tough to adjust when I went to Mexico. That first year, they gave me a good opportunity to be playing and stuff. I just didn't make the most of it. I think all those factors kind of played in there, in terms of the language, not understanding, just a lot of difficulties there. And then you fast forward to going to Israel. It was almost like that same situation for me, where I was like, wow, whole new culture, all new language. How am I going to do this? But I had that support of my wife and my kids, and it made it just so much easier. I think I settled in so quickly. We arrived in Israel, and the first thing we did was go to Jerusalem. I think we arrived on a Saturday morning. We were installed in our apartment that Saturday night, and Sunday morning we were on the phone, like, get us a tour to Israel, or to Jerusalem. And so right off the bat, we were just blown away by the country, by what it had to offer in terms of culture, in terms of history. My wife really enjoyed it. My kids also. And the soccer actually was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. The level there is extremely high, very technical players. There's a good, like, 5-6 solid teams. I'd say, like, the top 3 are Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Beersheba. And then Natanya, the team I went to, was that 4th, like, competitor throughout the entire season. We took 4th in the end. We lost the last game to Maccabi Haifa. If we had beat them, we would have taken 2nd and gotten a play into the Europa League. So it was almost a dream season for that team. We lost in the finals of the Cup, which, if we had won it, we would have been the first time, or it would have been the first time the team won it in 48 years. So we lost in penalties with 7 minutes left up. We gave a goal, so that was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And then we finished 4th in the end. But it was a great experience. I loved my time there in Natanya, and I still speak with some of the teammates, and the situation over there was hit a lot harder than it was here in the MLS. Like, right off the bat, they had to take 50% away from their salaries. So it's kind of like a godsend kind of thing that I moved at the right time. But I definitely enjoyed my time there.
Nice.
Was there any potential moves to the MLS, like, in that span of 10 years? Yeah, like, while you're in Mexico, were there any teams that kind of came across that you had the opportunity to go to, but you wanted to stay in Mexico at the time, or anything like that?
Honestly, I don't think there was, just because, when I got to Mexico, I really wanted to kind of, like, make a point there, like, have some success there. And so after Tigres, not doing so well, 3 years where I was trying to go on loan to other Mexican teams, just not really able to find my groove. Finally, getting the chance to go to Querétaro was when I kind of got my foot in the door with the league and with that team, and was able to have some success.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to go back to the MLS, because I had something to myself to prove more than anything.
Yeah.
To, like, have success in Mexico. I went there. I'm gonna break through somehow within that league, and kind of make a name for myself there. Yeah. And so that was kind of my rationale behind not wanting to come back to the MLS. Kind of like, I know it's there, but I don't want to yet.
Let me keep.
Right. Let me just keep trying to grow as a person, grow as a player, and that's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you've done well for yourself, and now you're back in Chicago. And what was that decision like, coming back? Like, what Did something special come up, or was it just you felt like it was time? You had proved, what you wanted to do outside of the U.S. What was that coming back?
I mean, my plan was to actually stay in Israel. And then that's when kind of Pauno, the coach at Chicago at the time, had approached me. It was actually, I think, January. And he called me up. He asked me, he's like, "Oh, I've been watching your games in Israel." He's like, "I really like your style of play. I really want you to come to the team." But at that point in January, we were still in the cup with the Israel team. Mm-hmm. We were battling for a top 3 spot in the league. And the president at the club was like, "There's no way, not with being in those 2 tournaments, there's no way we will make anything happen." And so I thought it had disappeared. And at that point, I was also like, I kind of want to stay here in Israel. I enjoy the lifestyle. My family's happy. We are far from our families, but it strengthened us as a core like family group so much. And so we were enjoying that. And so fast forward a few months in May, then we lost in the finals of the cup, and then we lost the last game of the season. And so then that conversation came back. Pauno called me up again. It was like May, I don't know, something. He said, "Hey, we're still interested if you want to come." And I brought it to the president of the club, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll let you go," like on a free, even though my contract automatically renewed. And I had a contract in place. They didn't ask a transfer fee or anything. So I was super surprised. I was like, "Really?" And so I guess, there may be factors in play that I didn't know about, but I decided along with my wife, to come back to Chicago would be a great city for us to kind of install ourselves into the U.S. We'd be a lot closer to Querétaro, where my wife's law firm is. She's a lawyer. And so at any time, we could just fly back and forth from Chicago to Querétaro. And I took a chance to come back to the MLS, and I think I felt so good since I've come back. I mean, I felt like I immediately was able to break into this team, Chicago, last season, and earn a starting spot and just make a real impact. More than anything, helping the young guys, being that leader that I never really had while I was in Mexico, because I was always kind of seen as like a foreigner, and especially in Israel also like a foreigner with experience, but not really, like he's from here. And then so arriving in Chicago was like, they embraced me. I really felt comfortable, and there was no real transition process. So yeah, I'm happy to be here in Chicago.
Nice. All right, Sal, what are your questions for the
I just want to, so we, with Orlando, right? So you guys have a game tomorrow. Kind of just talk about the atmosphere there. I mean, you touched on it a little bit off camera, but does it have like a preseason feel to it with all the teams being in the hotel? Is it as bad as some of these Twitter accounts are making it out to be?
So I wouldn't say it's as bad as, maybe I'm not sure exactly what you're
referring to,
referring to, but maybe the photos of the food and stuff. Yeah. For me, it's been good. I would say up until now, it has been kind of like a preseason type of thing, just because our game got postponed. That was going to be against Nashville, and we haven't played, and we've just been preparing this entire time. And so, I'm really excited to finally have that game tomorrow, to see where this group has come over this little bit of time we've been together. But in general terms, it does feel like a preseason. Whenever you go on like away games, you're in the hotel with the team.
Yeah.
And so, but it's nice. I mean, the food is pretty good. The team has been able to go out to eat in the specified restaurants we have here. I got kind of lucky. I have a balcony in my room.
Nice.
A lot of players don't, but I have a great view.
Let's see your view, bro. I want to see the view.
Yeah. Here we go.
The rain probably already passed since it's almost 8:00. It probably rained like 6:00 over there.
Here we go.
Swan and Dolphin.
Look at that. Look at the fall. Look at the humidity coming through the window. On the window. I know. Like, that is nice, though.
We're in the Titanic here, bro. So that's nice. Yeah, you can see Epcot right there.
Yeah, I can see Epcot. There you go. Nice. Johnny, I went there with the family when I was in Atlanta. We would drive down, and we actually stayed at the Swan and Dolphin Resort one night. It's kind of nice. They used to have fair. Obviously,
that's where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
We're at this one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, no. And then you take the ferry right there, and you take it all the way into Epcot and all the different worlds over there. It's a good time. Good family time.
They got the dock completely shut off, but they were saying that there was a ferry before.
But it just opened, right? It just reopened Disney World like yesterday.
I think they opened Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, but they're going to be opening up Epcot in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Something like that. I heard on the news.
Hey, Johnny, one question about the bubble. There's obviously Nashville and Dallas have been kicked out of the tournament. Do you guys feel completely safe? Do you guys feel somewhat safe? Do you guys feel like as safe as if you were at home and training, going to training every day? Like what's that feeling like? Is there any kind of like nervousness about, one person inside in the bubble getting it and then like it's spreading it out? Like what's that feeling like?
I mean, within our team, we've all tested negative the entire time. And I think that's given us a sense of security, just knowing like we're constantly with these guys and no one's been positive. But then at the same time, you're in this hotel where other people have tested positive and they've been using similar facilities to us,
right.
I remember like the gym, we're sharing the gym with Portland Timbers and FC Dallas. And the first time we walked into the gym, we see the plaque of the 3 teams on the board. It's like, oh, those 3 teams are using the gym. And everyone's like, well, I'm not going to go in the gym. Dallas,
right.
Dallas is sharing the gym with us, And then they reassured us like, oh, Dallas hasn't actually used the gym yet. But those kind of things are what kind of cause you to have this nervous energy.
Yeah.
Just imagining yourself kind of being in a situation where you could contract the virus that's I think the scariest thing. But in general terms, I feel really safe when we're on our floor. We're all hanging out. I don't even think anyone's ever even thinking of the possibility of getting the virus.
Right.
And then obviously on the field, you don't even think about anything once you're training and once you're playing. You guys know how it is. So, but in general terms, I think it's pretty safe. I felt pretty comfortable.
That's good.
My biggest concern with the whole tournament was that my family was going to be okay while I was gone.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I was able to get them to Mexico, so that they could be with the grandparents and with, we have a nanny and stuff there. So that my wife would have help and wouldn't have 2 little girls on her hands in an apartment in Chicago. So the moment that was all taken care of, I was open for kind of just whatever had to happen for us to be playing.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's
yep.
a lot. All right. I think do you have any other?
No, let's get into it.
All right, Johnny. So you've done well with quick hitters. You've done well with the interview. Now, as I normally say, strap into your seat. It'll start getting warmer in that seat. And Sal, I think you've got the first, or do I have? No, I have the first question this time. So there'll be 5 questions, as I said before. You'll be able to plead the 5th one time, so use it wisely. If you choose to not plead the 5th, you get to ask any hard questions that you want to us. Got it?
I can use it once, but that ends my chance of asking you questions.
Yes, correct. If you use it once, then you don't get a chance to ask us.
No.
And we'll try and do Icopar justice here, since Jimmy Conrad on the last episode, he got all 5 questions right. So let's see if we can
let me go turn my air conditioning down real quick.
We're gonna get you warm. We're gonna get you warm for your game for tomorrow morning. All right, here we go. First question. So we've gone over your career with the national team. You've played, big tournaments with other big players. Pick your all-time back 5, including a goalkeeper. So back 4 and goalkeeper. So you're the left back. So you got to pick the other 3 and the goalie all-time that your favorite back 4 and goalie to play with that you played with in the national team at some point.
On the national team? I mean, I definitely would have to start out in the back goalie with Tim Howard. This team actually might look a lot like the team that we took to the World Cup that I played with, now that I'm thinking about it.
But there was some change. Hey, in that World Cup, you didn't start the first 2 games, correct?
I did not, no.
And then Bob made some changes and you started the next 2. So I'm curious as well. Even then, it wasn't the same group the whole time through.
Yeah, that's true. But definitely next to me would be Bocanegra. It was always a pleasure to play next to him. And, he was our Captain America. And then I loved how Jay Demerit played with such passion. And he always lifted me up whenever I seen him getting stuck into a tackle. And just, he was kind of one of those underdog guys too, kind of like both of us.
Right.
Always, never, being in the limelight, but making it always. And so I would put him. And then right back, over all the years of the national team, I mean, to be honest, Cherundolo was I think the best player who we had there, and the best player who I played with.
Stevie was
right
sick,
back.
dude. He's an underrated player. Even like as good as he was, he somehow is still underrated.
Yeah.
For sure.
Arguably the most field player wise, maybe the most successful career as a
Sal knows him pretty well. Sal's dad, dude.
Yeah. My big bro.
Yeah. You guys play together over there in Germany or what?
Yeah, in Hanover, and then also obviously with him being from San Diego. Yeah, it was nice. It's nice to have him.
He's
there.
not San Diegan, bro. He's a Deutsch.
Now he's Hanover.
He's Deutsch.
However you would say it.
He's German more than American now.
Yeah.
I feel like that question ended up being a pretty simple one, but I think I fully agree with pretty much all your choices. So well done.
All right. Yeah. Question 2, Johnny. Rank these coaches from first to worst or worst to first, however you want to go about it. Let's go Bob Bradley, Preki.
Oh boy, here I feel plead the fifth coming on this one.
So Bob Bradley, Preki, Martin Vasquez, Paunovic, or Rafa Vicky.
I mean, I'll do best to worst.
Okay.
For me personally, my playing career and everything, I would have to put Bob at the top. He gave him my chance, drafted me into Chivas USA, brought me along when he got the national team job. And so he's number one. Number 2, I've only been with him very little time here so far, but I'm extremely impressed at the way Rafael Vicky's come into this club and this organization and change things around, giving this club a new identity from like a playing sense. And, I'm really enjoying where I'm at right now with him. So he would be second. The
other
three, name the three again. It was Preki,
Martin, and Paunovic.
And Paunovic. I would say 3 and 4 would be Preki, Pauno. It's tough, man. Preki, because we had such a good team with Bob Bradley that first season at Chivas, and he took the reins, and he really did a great job of keeping the kind of the feel and everything going for the next 2 years. I think Chivas USA was always that one team everyone kind of loved watching play because we played such attractive soccer, but we just couldn't get out of the first round of the playoffs. But he did a really good job when he was with us at Chivas. Plus, he would play with us, and he would be better than us anyway. So, I mean, he was a great player, and he was a good coach then. Pauno, because to be honest, I heard so many bad stories about him when I was coming into the team. But while I was there, I mean, the team was doing well, and he never had one of those crazy moments. I don't think I don't have any of the stories that those other players have about him.
No Alan Gordon stories.
You didn't ask if you wanted any soup ever.
And so I think I didn't have that experience with him, and to be honest, I felt like the team did well, so he would be fourth out of those. And then Martin, just in terms of how Chivas did in terms of playing on the field and the season we had, I think that was one of the worst seasons we had while I was there. And so when you have to compare all the 5, Martin, great guy. I knew him since I was in college and everything. Love him as a person. But if in terms of those 5, that would be the bottom one.
Well, it's not the first time Martin gets the shaft, dude. I mean, Jurgen fired him 3 months before the World Cup. So, poor guy.
Yeah, that's unlucky, man. I felt for him there.
All right, third question. I'm glad you're using that shirt because I don't know if you remember last year, you guys had a different logo. So I want to know from 1 to 10, how do you rate the old logo? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best.
I mean, the old logo, in my opinion, is like in this guy. Well, the old logo was the original one that they had, and I would give it a 7.
7. All right. Now do me a favor. This is 1A and 1B. Put that one up close there so everybody can see it and rate that one from 1 to 10.
I'll give it a 7. 8.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
7 and a 7.8.
You got to admit, though,
8.
you're getting used to it. You know, it's
Yeah,
different.
Yeah.
A lot of people gave it crap. Sal is one of the guys that doesn't like it. I really
It grows.
don't
Every
think
logo grows on you, but
I don't
mean,
think it's
Yeah.
that bad.
It's not. I actually really like it. I mean, when they I was one
I
of
don't
the
know if I
first players
really
with
like it,
AJ.
Johnny. I mean, it's like a simple logo. It's just like a mirror image. So I don't know if I really like it, but
Okay.
it'll do.
I got to sell it, you know. It's my team, bro.
I think our producer Nino Zizzo could have come up with a better logo if you're asking me.
Yeah, well, Nino's. Look at our graphic design
Yeah.
logo there. So he's an expert.
Check out our website. You'll see some of his work.
All right,
It is-
fourth question, Sal. You got the fourth
All right,
question,
fourth
dude. He hasn't
question.
plugged
All right.
the fifth yet.
I know. All right.
Kyle, I'm just gonna answer them all. I just want to ask you guys.
My last one isn't very hard. So Sal, it's either this one. Or
I
it's that one.
mean, all right.
You guys are definitely missing Ike right now, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ike's the mean one.
All right.
Yeah.
Which country's national team would you play for given the choice? Israel or Mexico?
Between the two,
Yeah.
I would choose Israel just for the sheer fact that they play a lot of European teams, and I think, you know, if you're on that national team, you can be easily like all those players who are playing on that national team are playing in Europe and playing in big countries. I just think it would, you know, definitely be a good opportunity there for me if I had done that.
I'm surprised. I told Sal before. I'm thinking for sure going to say Mexico. Surprised.
I mean, that's a tough question, to be honest. I mean, I was actually asked that question between the U.S. and Mexico when I was in my first January camp. They're like, "Why are you playing here instead of Mexico?" And at that moment, it was an easy answer because I had grown up here. I didn't even speak Spanish. But then after playing in Mexico for a long, you know, a good amount of time, you know, you really grow close to all those players who play on the national team. I was playing with a lot of them, great guys. But still, given all that, I think if I were young and I was, you know, just starting on the national team scene with one of those two, I think Israel would be pretty amazing to represent.
Nice. All right. Last question. I don't see you pleading on this one, so just have fun with it. Rank the cities in order of any way you want to rank them, really. Enjoyment, soccer, on and off the field so Chicago, LA, Natanya, Monterey, and Querétaro City.
All right. I mean, I'll go best to worst. Best for sure, LA. I mean, it's my hometown. I was born in that city. Was lucky enough to go to college in and around Los Angeles, then to be drafted by the hometown team, get my start there, first national team game in that same city. I mean, there's just so many great experiences, you know, there. So definitely the best. Number 2 would be Querétaro. It's my new home. It's where I met my wife. My daughters are from Querétaro. They were born there. Will always have a huge place in my heart. I still go back every vacation. It's, you know, it's where I have my home, and I even have an auto mechanic shop there. So whenever you need your car worked on, go to Bornstein.
That's right.
And then, so number 3, I would say Natanya. Natanya was a phenomenal city, very close to Tel Aviv, close to Jerusalem. We live in an amazing apartment right there on the beach. My daughters loved just going to the parks, feeling very safe in that country. And so, easy number 3. Number 4, Monterrey. You know, it's a beautiful city in Mexico. I think San Pedro is like another world within Mexico. I think there's one of the richest cities in Latin America right there, in San Pedro, Monterrey. And also just, it's such a soccer town. When Monterrey Tigres play each other, the whole city just shuts down for that entire week, and you just see all these rivalries going, all these flags outside of people's doors, people driving around, waving flags, screaming, getting into fights about who's going to win and stuff. It's an amazing town. I had a quality 3 years there, about just growing in my life. And, you know, I wasn't playing much, but still I have some fond memories of Monterrey. And then, was that it? That's all.
Chicago, but Chicago, you've lived there for a few months.
So
unless you want to add Orlando too to it.
Yeah. We can do that. Or Chicago, then Orlando. But No, Chicago's great. Unfortunately, this whole COVID thing hit while we were barely getting to know the city. And, I arrived, I think, in August of 2019. And then the season was only up until November. Then we went on vacation. We went to Mexico and went home for a little bit. And then I arrived back January. And my family didn't actually get back to Chicago until, I think, March 15th, 16th, right? Like I literally flew from the New England game to Mexico just to pick my family up and came back. And literally in the air, we landed. It was like quarantine in the apartment, craziness. And so we've literally been in the apartment since then. And it's been nice, but we're really looking forward to getting to know Chicago a lot more and, enjoying the sights, enjoying everything it has to offer.
Yep.
Where's home after everything's done?
The plan right now, is Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, we built a really nice home there, and
nice.
We have some family there. But you never know with how soccer works out, where it's going to take me. I'm planning on playing 5 more years, so that's hopefully it's
minimum, right? Minimum,
I guess. Yeah.
You can't retire before Sash now. I'm going to keep this.
My goal was 40, but now it's just to beat out Sasha.
Well, Jonny, you're off the hot seat, and you answered all 5 questions. So, unfortunately for me and Sal, you get to ask us any question that you like. So,
all right.
Have you thought of one?
Yes, I was warned about this, so I said I'm making it through so I can have to ask them whatever it takes, So, who is your? I don't know all the guests, but rank your. Just tell me your worst and your best guest that you've ever had on the show.
All right. I'll go first, Sal, then you can answer it. Best guest on the show for me is a toss-up between Alan Gordon and Mike Grella. I will go – oof, man, that's a tough one. I think Alan Gordon told better stories, but I just think Grella's a funnier dude. So I'm gonna give it to Grella, even though Gordon had some ridiculous stories, but it is really 1A and 1B. And in terms
I had you picking Alan Gordon.
Yeah, he's up there. Those two were classics. And then the worst, I will say, honestly, no fault of his own, but Andy, our very first episode, Andy Grunebaum, it was just we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And then I'll take a stab at this guy because I really expected more from him. Johnny Russell, hilarious dude in the locker room, was very sheltered during the show here. So I'll give a knock to him as saying, once we got going, Johnny was not up to snuff. I hope that if we ever have him again, he can kind of come out with more fire.
I thought you were going to say Jonny Bornstein. I was like, oh man, this guy.
Nah, Johnny, good, honestly, that's hard. And the reason why I say it's hard is because Benny and Ike and I, we always talk about after the podcast, this one was good. And so it kind of, as far as the worst podcast goes, honestly, I have to agree. Not so much with the Johnny Russell one, although it was very difficult to understand him most of the time. But
we needed subtitles, dude.
But the Andy one, Andy is such a close friend to Benny and I, and we love talking to him. But we just didn't know what we were doing in the podcast. It was absolutely to no fault of him. We were just so bad in our first episode. I wish we could just start at episode 2 and go on. But
it's like when you break up with your girlfriend and you're like, it's you, exactly. Not me. Or it's me, not you.
It's me, not you. Exactly.
It was me, not you.
Sorry, Andy. And then the best one, I played with Mike for years, so those stories were just kind of second nature to me, and I think he's a hilarious guy. But because I was his roommate, it's just that was Mike. So I love the guy. That was funny, but it wasn't as big of a surprise for me. So I would have to go with Alan Gordon, even though Johnny, we actually played with him a little bit at Chivas USA for that short time, but his stories over the years just got better. And his
Pano story is ridiculous. Did you hear that one?
I think I did hear that.
The one where you guys were playing in Kansas City. Settings. Yeah, the Kansas City where I wasn't on the team. Kansas City was the year that I wasn't there, but apparently somebody was fucking someone's wife while someone was drinking soup and anyways.
That's too funny, dude.
But yeah,
I'm so disappointed. I never got any of those stories from Pauno. It's very disappointing.
I will also say, sorry, I forgot to mention the Will Ferrell episode for me was really cool. It was I don't know, pretty special to interview him, just who he is and stuff. It felt like it was a fun time for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to all of them in full edition now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm part of this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Jonny. Really appreciate it. We love your stories, bro, and we've been through everything together. So it's good to reconnect. And honestly, we need to reconnect like live once Corona's gone and you have a little bit of time off from soccer. So we appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm really looking forward to being in front of you when you're speaking Portuguese with your parents, and then understanding and not thinking you're just yelling at them for no good reason.
Yeah, Brazilians just yell for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I know now, bro. That's how my house is at. It's just yelling the entire time in Portuguese. It's crazy.
All right, dude. Go get your rest. Good luck in your game tomorrow. I'm gonna be watching. Actually, no, I'm not gonna be watching, but I might record it because I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. Pacific. But good luck.
Yeah.
Get a good meal in at 5 a.m. Get your locks on that bagel and do
do.
bro.
Thanks,
all right,
Jonny.
thank you guys.
Stay in touch,
it was a
bro.
pleasure being here
Good
with you. Yeah. Talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
dude.
All right.
See ya.
Later, man.
Thank you, Jonny Bornstein. That was a lot of fun, bro. A lot of good stories. Feels like I've gone through everything with this kid.
Yeah, we got to stay in touch with him. I mean, I lost touch with him. I probably hadn't talked to him since he left Chivas USA in 2010. So it was 10 years since the last time I talked to him, but feels like yesterday. He's an easy guy to talk to and a good guy.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I ditto basically what you just said in regards to I need to start talking to him more, especially now that he's in the U.S. I mean, when you live in Europe, it's so hard to get in contact with people.
Mexico.
No, but I mean, he lived in Israel, which is the Middle East,
yeah.
but like, European time zone, Asian time zone.
Yeah.
So it's tough. And so, I mean, that kid, like I said, he's been with me for so long through, youth club, national team. We played against each other, with each other, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, good that he's playing back in the league and nice to reconnect with him.
Yeah, he gave us some pretty good insight in his career and how things were in Orlando. So
I just hope we didn't take away
cool.
too much of his sleep for tonight, dude, because he's waking up really early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, nah, he's gonna ball out tomorrow. Watch him score 2 goals.
I hope so.
You heard it here.
That's the BSI bump.
2 goals. Yeah, that's true.
For all you guys, for all the Patreons out there, we will be coming up with a new extra podcast this upcoming week. So start sending us your questions on the Patreon website. We'll put a post on there soon. And if you want more content, then please join us on Patreon because it's been a lot of fun. And the guys that and the B-siders, as we call it, I think have been really helping us out with the kind of content that they want to hear, the questions that they send in for the Plead the Fifth. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know these, our Patreons are very top fans on the Zoom calls and to connect that way as well. So make sure you guys keep doing that. And whoever wants to be part of it, please join. Anything else?
No, man, that's good. Thanks again for listening, guys. And we're going to continue to have access to the bubble with some of these players. So keep tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time.